I never meant for this to happen." Emma's voice trembled as she stood in the doorway of Jack's office, one hand protectively cradling her barely visible bump. "The baby is yours." Jack's pen clattered to the desk. His eyes, usually sharp with wit, widened in shock before settling into something unexpected: resolve. "Then we should marry." But neither of them could have predicted how those simple words would change everything, or the storm that was about to hit them both. 3 months earlier, Emma Winters had been nothing but a name on a corporate merger document. Now she was the new CEO of Meridian Publishing, the company Jack had poured his heart and soul into for the past decade. The boardroom buzzed with tension as she walked in that first day, her white silk blouse and tailored skirt showcasing a figure that turned heads. Her long platinum hair was pulled back in a severe bun that matched her reputation. Brilliant, ruthless, and completely focused on the bottom line. "I understand there are concerns," she said, her voice cool as she surveyed the room of executives. "Change is difficult. But I'm not here to dismantle what works, I'm here to fix what doesn't." Jack Sullivan, creative director and single father to 8-year-old Lily, leaned back in his chair with arms crossed. "And exactly how many publishing houses have you fixed into bankruptcy, Ms. Winters?" The room went silent. Emma's blue eyes locked with his, a flicker of something, respect, perhaps, crossing her face before she smiled. "Mr. Sullivan, I've read your department's numbers. Perhaps we should discuss your creative direction in private before you throw stones." That first meeting had set the tone for their relationship, professional adversaries by day, each fighting for their vision of the company's future. Jack, defending the creative integrity that had built Meridian's reputation. Emma, pushing for innovation and profitability that would keep them relevant. What no one saw were the late nights when the office emptied, when arguments over manuscript acquisitions turned into conversations about life, about Jack's daughter, about the pressure Emma felt as a woman in the corporate world. What no one knew was how quickly animosity had transformed into something neither of them had expected. "You're impossible," Emma had laughed one night, her hair finally down around her shoulders as they shared takeout in her office. "How does your daughter put up with you?" "Lily thinks I'm hilarious," Jack grinned, his charisma on full display. "It's only bossy CEOs who don't appreciate my charm." "Is that what you call it?" "I thought it was just stubbornness wrapped in dad jokes." Their eyes had met across the desk, and for a moment, the air between them changed. But Emma had quickly looked away, reminding herself of boundaries she couldn't cross. Until the night of the publishing awards, when champagne and celebration broke down the last of their defenses. One night that changed everything. Now, standing in his doorway with news that would alter both their lives, Emma felt her carefully constructed world crumbling. She hadn't planned on telling him yet, maybe not ever. Her career had always come first. A baby wasn't in the 5-year plan, especially not with her subordinate, the man who challenged her at every turn. "Mary?" Emma finally found her voice. "Jack, be serious. We barely know each other." "We know enough," he said, rising from his desk. "I've done the single-parent thing. It's hard as hell, even with all the privilege I have. I won't let my child go through that if I can help it." "Your child," she repeated, the words strange on her tongue. "This isn't about duty, Jack. I don't need to be saved." "No, you don't," he agreed, his expression softening. "But maybe this isn't about need at all." Before Emma could respond, the door swung open. Philip Meridian, the company founder and chairman, stood there with a thunderous expression. "I just heard the most interesting rumor," he said, his gaze moving between them. "Please tell me it's not true." The company had a strict non-fraternization policy. A policy that could cost both of them everything they'd worked for. "Sir, I can explain," Jack started, but Emma cut him off. "It's my responsibility," she said firmly. "If someone needs to step down, it should be me." Jack stared at her in disbelief. "Like hell it will be." What followed was a whirlwind of closed-door meetings, legal consultations, and painful decisions. The board was split, some calling for Emma's resignation, others defending her leadership despite the scandal. Jack fought for her every step of the way, even as she pushed him away, insisting she could handle it alone. "Why are you doing this?" she demanded one night, finding him working late on a presentation defending her position to the board. "I'm perfectly capable of fighting my own battles." "Because that's my kid too," he said simply. "And because I've seen you in action, Emma. This company needs you." She studied him, this man who infuriated and fascinated her in equal measure. "And what about what you need?" His smile was tired but genuine. "I'm a big boy. I can take care of myself." "And Lily? What does she think about all this?" Jack's expression grew serious. "She doesn't know yet. About any of it. After her mom left." He shook his head. "I need to be careful how I handle this." The mention of Jack's ex-wife, who had walked out when Lily was just 3, hung between them. Emma felt a chill. Was that how Jack saw her? Another woman who might abandon his child? "I'm not going anywhere," she said quietly, surprising herself with the certainty in her voice. "Whatever happens with us, with the company. I'm not walking away from this baby." Something shifted in Jack's eyes. "Then maybe we should start figuring out what us means." Over the next weeks, as Emma's pregnancy became impossible to hide, they navigated a new reality. Professional boundaries blurred as they attended doctor's appointments together, as Jack insisted on bringing her ginger tea for morning sickness, as Emma found herself stopping by his house to meet Lily, a precocious, wary child with her father's quick wit and observant eyes. "Are you my dad's girlfriend?" Lily asked bluntly during their first dinner together. Emma choked on her water while Jack intervened. "Lily, remember what we talked about? A mess. Winters and I work together, and we're going to be co-parents to your new brother or sister. But do you love her?" Lily persisted, eyes narrowed in assessment. The question hung in the air, unanswered. That night, after Lily went to bed, they sat on Jack's porch swing, the spring air cool around them. "She's just trying to protect you," Emma said softly. "She's afraid I'll hurt you." Jack's laugh held no humor. "More like she's afraid you'll hurt me and then leave her too." Emma turned to face him. "Is that what you think?" "I think," he said carefully, "that neither of us planned this. I think you had a whole life mapped out that didn't include me or a baby. And I think you're still figuring out if there's room for us in that new map." His honesty stripped her bare. "And what about you? Is this really what you want, or are you just doing what you think is right?" Jack was quiet for a long moment. "When Cynthia left, I thought that was it for me. I had Lily, I had my work. It was enough." His eyes met hers. "I never expected you, Emma Winters, with your color-coded spreadsheets and your impossible standards." "My standards aren't impossible," she protested. "They're just, high. Stratospheric," he corrected with a smile. "But here's the thing, I've never been more challenged, more frustrated, or more alive than these past months sparring with you." Emma felt something unfurl in her chest. "That's not exactly a declaration of love, Sullivan." "No," he agreed, reaching for her hand. "But it might be a beginning." As her pregnancy progressed, so did their relationship, tentatively, with missteps and moments of doubt. The board eventually decided against termination, but with conditions, a restructuring that made Jack her equal rather than her subordinate, removing the fraternization issue. "Co-COS," Emma said, testing the words after the announcement. "Think you can handle sharing power, Sullivan?" "I don't know, Winters." "Think you can handle my creative chaos in your orderly world?" Their banter had become a language of its own, a way to express feelings neither was quite ready to name. But life rarely follows a neat narrative. At 7 months pregnant, Emma developed complications that put both her and the baby at risk. Confined to bed rest, she watched her carefully constructed independence crumble as Jack stepped in, balancing the company, Lily's needs, and Emma's care with a determination that left her humbled. "You don't have to do all this," she protested one evening as he set up his laptop beside her bed, preparing to work through acquisition proposals with her. "Yeah, I do," he said simply. "That's what partners do." "Is that what we are? Partners?" Jack looked up, his expression serious. "What do you want us to be, Emma?" The question she'd been avoiding for months. "I'm scared," she admitted, the words foreign on her tongue. Emma Winters didn't do fear, didn't do vulnerability. Not of the baby, or even of us. "I'm scared of failing at this. My mother was, she was cold. Distant. What if I don't know how to love properly?" Jack set aside his laptop and moved to sit beside her on the bed. "The fact that you're worried about it tells me everything I need to know." "That's not an answer." "Okay, try this," he said, taking her hand. "I've watched you these past months. I've seen how you fight, not just for yourself, but for what you believe in. For the company, for our authors. For me, even when I was being a complete pain in the ass." Emma smiled despite herself. "Which was most of the time." "Fair," he acknowledged with a grin. "But Emma, love isn't something you succeed or fail at. It's something you choose, every day. And from where I'm sitting, you're already choosing it." Tears, those traitorous pregnancy hormones, filled her eyes. "When did you get so wise, Sullivan?" "Probably around the time I fell in love with my boss," he said quietly. The words hung between them, honest and unadorned. Emma felt something shift inside her, a wall crumbling that she hadn't even known she'd built. "Jack," she whispered, "I don't want to marry you because of the baby." His face fell slightly, but he nodded. "I understand." "No," she continued, squeezing his hand. "I want to marry you because somewhere between hating your stubborn ideas and loving your ridiculous jokes, I fell in love with you too." Their wedding was small, just Lily as flower girl, a few close friends, and Emma 7 months pregnant in a flowing dress that made her feel beautiful despite her swollen ankles. No corporate politics, no grand gestures. Just a promise between two people who had found each other in the most unexpected way. 2 weeks later, their son was born, early but healthy, with Jack's dark hair and Emma's determined expression. "He's perfect," Jack whispered, holding his son while Lily peered curiously at her new brother. "He's loud," Lily observed as the baby began to cry. "Does he come with a volume button?" Emma laughed, reaching for her stepchild's hand. "No, but he comes with a big sister who's going to teach him everything she knows." Lily considered this responsibility with solemn eyes. "Even how to annoy Dad?" "Especially that," Emma agreed, sharing a smile with Jack over their children's heads. Life settled into a new rhythm, messy, exhausting, and more fulfilling than Emma had ever imagined. The company thrived under their shared leadership, their different perspectives creating a balance neither could have achieved alone. There were challenges, of course. Nights when the baby wouldn't sleep and deadlines loomed. Days when Lily tested boundaries, still uncertain of her place in their reconfigured family. Moments when Emma doubted herself, when the weight of all her roles felt impossible to bear. But there were also mornings when she woke to find Jack already up with the baby, singing off-key as he made breakfast for Lily. Evenings when the four of them piled onto the couch, a tangle of limbs and laughter. Board meetings where she and Jack communicated with just a glance, their professional rhythm as natural as their personal one had become. "We're killing it, Winters," Jack said one night as they collapsed into bed after finally getting both children to sleep. "That's still Sullivan Winters to you," she corrected with a tired smile. "My bad," he murmured, pulling her close. "Though I gotta say, for someone who didn't want to marry me, you sure were quick to take my name." "Half your name," she pointed out. And only because Lily said it would make us more like a real family. Jack's expression softened. And are we? A real family? Emma thought about the chaos of their morning routine, about Lily's drawings of the four of them hanging on the refrigerator, about the way her heart still skipped when Jack walked into a room. The realist, she said, kissing him softly. Though if you tell anyone I've gone soft, I'll deny it completely. Your secret's safe with me, he promised. Though the entire publishing industry might have noticed when you cried at the children's book launch last week. That was a beautiful story and you know it, she defended. Besides, I'm pretty sure I saw you tearing up too. Jack laughed, the sound rumbling through his chest. What can I say? I'm a sucker for happy endings. Emma smiled, thinking of the unlikely journey that had brought them here. Me too, she whispered. Me too. What neither of them realized was that their story was far from over. Just as they had found their rhythm, life was about to throw them another curveball. It began with a letter, elegant stationery with a San Francisco postmark, addressed to Lily Sullivan. Emma found it while sorting the mail one afternoon, their son Noah napping against her chest in a baby carrier. Anything interesting? Jack asked, coming in from the home office they'd set up when Emma's maternity leave began. Bills, publishing journals, and... She hesitated, holding up the envelope. This is for Lily. Jack's expression changed instantly, a shadow crossing his face as he took the letter. That handwriting, he said quietly. It's Cynthia's. 5 years of silence, and now this, a letter from the woman who had walked away from her daughter without a backward glance. The woman whose absence had shaped Lily's quiet insecurities, her fear of abandonment. What do you think she wants? Emma asked, instinctively holding Noah closer. Jack's jaw tightened. Nothing good. They decided to read it together after Lily went to bed, the weight of it hanging between them all evening. When they finally opened it, the contents were worse than they'd feared. Cynthia was moving back to New York. She wanted to reconnect with her daughter. She had changed and realized what was important. She can't just waltz back in after 5 years, Emma said, pacing their bedroom while Jack sat on the edge of the bed, the letter crumpled in his fist. She gave up her rights. She left. Legally, she still has visitation rights, Jack said, his voice hollow. We never formally terminated them because she never asked for them. Emma stopped pacing. And now she's asking. The next morning, they found Lily sitting at the kitchen table, the opened letter in front of her. She must have found it in Jack's office. Is she coming to take me away? Lily asked, her voice small but steady. Jack was at her side in an instant, kneeling beside her chair. No, sweetheart. No one is taking you anywhere. But she's my real mom, Lily said, looking up at Emma, who stood frozen in the doorway, Noah fussing in her arms. And now she wants me back. Emma felt her heart crack. She'd known from the beginning that Lily wasn't hers, not biologically. But somewhere in the midnight feedings and school projects, in the whispered confidences and shared laughter, she'd begun to feel like Lily's mother in all the ways that mattered. Lily, she said carefully, coming to sit across from her. Your mom, Cynthia, she does want to see you. But that doesn't mean you have to go anywhere. This is your home. We're your family. But what if she changes her mind again? Lily's voice broke. What if she decides she doesn't want me after all? The question hung in the air, raw and painful. It was the fear that had haunted Lily for years, the wound that had never fully healed. Then she'll be missing out on knowing the most amazing kid in the world, Jack said firmly. But we will still be here. We will always be here. The weeks that followed were a delicate dance of legal consultations, family therapy sessions, and difficult conversations. Cynthia pushed for regular visitation, her lawyer painting her as a reformed woman who deserved a second chance with her daughter. Jack and Emma fought to protect Lily from further emotional trauma, while still acknowledging that this was ultimately Lily's biological mother. "I don't understand why she's doing this now," Emma confided to Jack late one night, after another tense phone call with their attorney. 5 years without so much as a birthday card, and suddenly she's Mother of the Year? Jack ran a hand through his hair, exhaustion etched on his face. "The timing's suspicious. Right after we got married, right after Noah was born." "You think she's jealous?" Emma asked, surprised. "I think," Jack said carefully, "that Cynthia never liked losing control of anything. And seeing me build a new family might have triggered something in her." The court ordered a supervised visitation schedule, once a month to start, with a family therapist present. Lily approached the first meeting with a mixture of curiosity and dread, clutching Emma's hand until the last possible moment. "You'll be right outside," she confirmed, her small voice betraying her nervousness. "The whole time," Emma promised. "And if you want to leave, at any point, you just tell Dr. Martinez." Watching Lily walk into that room was one of the hardest things Emma had ever done. For 2 hours, she and Jack waited, taking turns walking Noah around the building when he grew fussy, neither able to focus on anything but what might be happening behind that closed door. When Lily emerged, her expression was unreadable. She was quiet on the drive home, answering their gentle questions with one-word responses. It wasn't until bedtime that she finally opened up, as Emma sat on the edge of her bed. "She brought me a necklace," Lily said, pulling a silver chain from under her pillow. "She said it was to remind me that we're connected, even when we're apart." Emma swallowed hard, fighting the irrational jealousy that surged through her. "That was thoughtful." "I asked her why she left," Lily continued, her fingers tracing the small heart pendant. "She said she wasn't ready to be a mom. That she was too young. Sometimes people make choices they later regret," Emma said carefully. Lily looked up, her eyes suddenly fierce. "Would you ever leave? If being a mom got too hard?" The question knocked the breath from Emma's lungs. "No," she said firmly. "Never. Being your stepmom and Noah's mom, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Even on the hardest days." "She wants me to call her mom," Lily confessed, her voice small again. "But I don't want to. Because..." She hesitated, then rushed on, "because that's what I want to call you." Emma felt tears spring to her eyes. "Oh, Lily. Is that okay?" the girl asked anxiously. "Dad said I should ask you." Emma gathered Lily into her arms, holding her close. "That would be the greatest honor of my life." The monthly visits continued, some better than others. Cynthia brought gifts, made promises, painted pictures of fun outings they could have once the restrictions were lifted. But she missed a visit when a modeling job came up, then was late to another because of a date. Each disappointment etched itself on Lily's face, each broken promise reinforcing what she had feared all along, that she wasn't enough of a priority. "I don't want to see her anymore," Lily announced after Cynthia canceled a third visit. "She doesn't really care about me." Jack and Emma exchanged glances over her head. "Sweetheart," Jack began, "people make mistakes. If you need a break from the visits, we can talk to Dr. Martinez about that." "No," Lily said firmly. "I want to stop. Forever." That night, after both children were asleep, Emma found Jack in his office, staring at old photographs, Lily as a toddler, Cynthia holding her with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "She never wanted to be a mother," he said quietly as Emma came to stand behind him. "I knew it, even before Lily was born. But I thought once she held her, once she saw her." He shook his head. "I was naive." Emma rested her hands on his shoulders. "You wanted to believe the best of her. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't want Lily to regret this decision later. To blame us for keeping her mother away." "We're not keeping anyone away," Emma reminded him. We facilitated every visit, followed every court order. But Lily's old enough to have a say in this. Jack turned to face her. And what about you? Are you okay with being mom? Emma smiled, the question warming her from within. More than okay. But I don't want to replace anyone, Jack. I just want to love her the way she deserves to be loved. You already do, he said softly. You have from the beginning. The legal battle that followed was brutal. Cynthia hired a high-powered attorney who painted Jack and Emma as manipulative, turning Lily against her birth mother. They suggested Emma was jealous, threatened by Cynthia's return. They even implied that Jack had orchestrated the whole situation, marrying his boss for career advancement. The tabloids got hold of the story, publishing power couple in custody battle, dragging their private pain into the public eye. Photographers camped outside their home, outside Lily's school. The board called emergency meetings, concerned about the company's image. This is exactly what I was afraid of, Emma said one night, after another grueling day in court. The scandal affecting the company, affecting our authors. Screw the company, Jack said with uncharacteristic vehemence. This is about our daughter. Our daughter. The word still had the power to move Emma, even in the midst of this nightmare. The turning point came unexpectedly. Cynthia, frustrated by the judge's insistence on hearing from Lily directly, lost her temper in the courtroom. She's just a child. She doesn't know what she wants. I'm 9.5, Lily corrected from the witness stand, her voice steady despite her trembling hands. And I know exactly what I want. I want to stay with my dad and my mom, Emma, and my brother. I want to be where people keep their promises. The judge, a stern woman with kind eyes, leaned forward. And what about your birth mother? Don't you think she deserves another chance? Lily considered this, her face serious beyond her years. My dad says everyone deserves second chances. But I think you have to earn them. And you have to really want them, not just say you do. Out of the mouths of babes. The courtroom fell silent, even Cynthia's attorney looking uncomfortable. That afternoon, Cynthia withdrew her petition for expanded visitation rights. A week later, her lawyer contacted them with a new proposal. She would voluntarily terminate her parental rights if Emma would agree to adopt Lily legally. Why the sudden change? Jack asked suspiciously when they met to discuss the terms. Cynthia looked different, subdued, the polished veneer cracked to reveal something almost like sincerity. Because Lily was right, she said simply. I don't really want to be a mother. I never did. I saw your perfect little family, and I felt like I should want it. Like something was wrong with me because I didn't. Emma studied the woman who had caused them so much pain. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to be a parent. The problem was pretending otherwise. Cynthia nodded, a flash of relief crossing her face. She looks at you the way I always wished she'd look at me. Like you hang the moon and stars. That's because Emma shows up, Jack said quietly. Every day, for every skinned knee and bad dream and science project. That's what parenting is. The adoption was finalized 3 months later, on Lily's 10th birthday. They celebrated with a backyard party, balloons and cake, and Lily proudly introducing Emma as "my mom," officially now, to her friends. That night, after the guests had gone and Noah was asleep in his crib, the three of them sat on the porch swing, Lily nestled between them. Best birthday ever, she declared, fingering the new locket Emma had given her. A family photo inside, all four of them laughing at the camera. Even better than the time Dad hired the princess characters. Emma teased. Way better, Lily said firmly. Because now nobody can ever take me away. Jack's eyes met Emma's over their daughter's head, a lifetime of understanding passing between them. Nobody was ever going to take you away, Lil, he said softly. But I know what you mean. Later, after Lily was tucked in and they had checked on Noah one last time, Emma and Jack stood in their bedroom, the day's emotions finally catching up to them. "We did it," Emma whispered, leaning into his embrace. "We're officially a family." Jack smiled against her hair. "We were always a family. The paperwork just finally caught up." Emma thought about the journey that had brought them here, from adversaries to co-parents to partners in every sense of the word. About the baby announcement that had terrified her, the marriage proposal she'd initially rejected, the family she'd never planned on but now couldn't imagine living without. "You know," she said thoughtfully, "when I took over Meridian, I had this 5-year plan. Streamline operations, boost digital sales, maybe acquire a few smaller imprints. And instead you acquired a husband, 2 kids, and a minivan," Jack finished with a grin. "Talk about mission creep." Emma laughed, the sound free and unguarded in a way it never would have been before. "Best hostile takeover ever." "I don't know about hostile," Jack murmured, pulling her closer. "I surrendered pretty willingly in the end." "Only after putting up one hell of a fight," she reminded him. "Had to make you work for it, Winters. Couldn't let you think I was easy." "That's still Sullivan Winters to you," she corrected, echoing their familiar exchange. "And trust me, Sullivan, you've never been easy a day in your life." His smile was slow and full of promise. "But worth it?" Emma thought of the chaos and joy of their blended family, of the company they were building together, of the love that had blindsided them both. "Completely worth it," she said softly. "Every single day." If you enjoyed this story of unexpected love and family, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming content that reminds us all that sometimes life's biggest surprises lead to our greatest joys. We'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop your country in the comments below.